My name is Margaret, and I made a choice that still haunts me every night. I offered my only daughter Mitchell, like a sacrificial lamb, to a billionaire named Bernard. I called it survival. She called it betrayal. And in chasing gold, I buried the trust that once made us a family. Before I continue, let me use this opportunity to appreciate you all for your support. I am overwhelmed by your love and support. If you're new here, kindly subscribe and hit on notifications. Now let us dive into it. The rain had been falling for days, just like my spirit. Our home in Oakland reeked of unpaid bills and broken dreams. I worked double shifts at the diner and still came home to a fridge full of mabes and tomorrows. My daughter Mitchell, 25 and full of fire, had just graduated with honors but no job, no offers, and no peace. Then came Bernard, 60 years old, wealthier than 10 cities combined, and colder than the winter wind that crept through our cracked windows. He had a reputation, generous with money, ruthless with emotions. He walked into the diner one evening, his gold watch glinting under the dim lights, his eyes scanning for more than just coffee. He noticed Mitchell on the sidewalk waiting for me, and he noticed me noticing him. 2 days later, he sent a car for me. His mansion smelled of leather and secrets. I was escorted to his glass office, overlooking the entire bay like a king surveying peasants. Bernard leaned back, sipped his whiskey, and said without blinking, "Your daughter has potential. I'd like to take care of her." I was stunned. "What exactly do you mean?" He smiled, cruel and calm. "He'll sponsor her life. Apartment, career path, designer clothes. And you'll never worry about bills again." I froze. My heart battled with my conscience. Could I really trade my daughter's freedom for financial relief? I thought of the eviction notice, my aching back, the nights I cried in the bathroom so Mitchell wouldn't hear. "I'll talk to her," I said, my voice trembling. Mitchell was furious. "You want me to date a man older than Dad? A man I don't even like?" "No," I lied. "I want you to have a better life. One dinner. Just have dinner with him. That's all." One dinner became two. Two became a relationship. Or something like it. I watched her smile die a little each week, her eyes dimming behind layers of designer sunglasses and forced laughter. The checks came rolling in. Our apartment transformed. Credit cards appeared. Friends returned. But every time I looked at Mitchell, I saw the cost. She wasn't living, she was performing. And I was the director of her misery. I used to think poverty was the worst thing that could happen to a family. The endless bills, the begging, the shame. But I learned something far crueler. Wealth without peace is a silent war. And I had dragged my daughter into that battlefield without a shield. After Mitchell agreed to continue seeing Bernard, our lives changed, at least on the outside. We moved from our crumbling apartment into a luxury condo with marble floors and a rooftop view. Food was no longer a worry. Debts were paid off. I wore clothes I couldn't even pronounce months earlier. People who once ignored us suddenly wanted to be friends. But money only decorated the surface. Beneath the gold, we were crumbling. Mitchell smiled less. She rarely laughed. Her natural, carefree glow was replaced with makeup and obligation. Bernard didn't abuse her with fists, no. He used power. He smothered her with expectations and rewards. For every public event she attended, he bought her another gift. A necklace here, a new car there. Her face was on social media. People admired her, envied her even, but no one knew the truth. She was playing a role in a movie she never auditioned for. One evening, I visited her at Bernard's estate. The place was quiet. I found her in the walk-in closet, sitting on the floor, surrounded by gowns and shoes. She was holding a pair of diamond-studded heels in her lap like they were shackles. "I don't even like diamonds," she said without looking up. "He gave me these today after I smiled through dinner with some oil executives." "Mom, I feel like a mannequin." I sat beside her, unsure of what to say. The words stuck in my throat, heavy with guilt. "You said yes, Mitchell." She turned to me slowly. "I said yes to dinner. You said yes to everything else." The truth stung. I had tried to convince myself that she had a choice, that I was only guiding her into opportunity. But deep down, I knew I had made the deal. I had planted the seed. And now, I was watching it grow into something poisonous. Bernard never allowed her to be herself. He changed her hair, her clothes, even the way she spoke. "Mitchell is a brand now," he once told me, laughing over cocktails. "She has a future in politics, in business, anything she wants." But she didn't want any of it. She wanted to be a writer. She wanted to travel, to work at a nonprofit, to live a quiet, honest life. But Bernard didn't want a writer. He wanted a trophy. And I had handed her over, ribbon and all. I thought the money would heal us. I thought eliminating hunger and bills would fix the cracks in our foundation. But it only revealed deeper wounds. Our conversations turned cold. She stopped calling me Mom. It was just Margaret, now formal and distant. I watched her transform into someone I didn't recognize. She smiled for cameras, kissed Bernard on the cheek in public, and played the role of the perfect partner. But behind closed doors, her eyes told a different story, one of longing, resentment, and silent rebellion. Sometimes I wondered what the neighbors thought. They saw a successful young woman living the dream. They didn't see the way she looked at herself in the mirror, like a stranger trapped in someone else's skin. One night, I found her typing on her laptop, tears rolling down her cheeks. When I asked what she was writing, she quickly shut the screen. Just a letter, she said. I didn't ask further, but in my gut, I knew she was planning something. She was slipping away from me, from Bernard, from all of it, and I was powerless to stop her. In chasing fortune, I had fractured our bond. I had clothed her in wealth but stripped her of joy. I told myself it was for her good, that one day, she would understand. But deep down, I feared I had made the mistake of a lifetime. A mistake that couldn't be bought back. The morning I discovered Mitchell was gone, the sun rose with a certain stillness, like it knew something had shifted. I had gone to Bernard's estate, as I did every Saturday, bringing flowers and pretending things were normal. But that day her room was empty. No clothes, no jewelry, no laptop, no scent of her perfume, just silence, and a folded envelope with my name written on it in her neat handwriting, placed on her neatly made bed. My hands trembled as I opened it. Mom, I waited for you to see me. Not the designer shoes, not the bags, not the lifestyle. Just me. But I realized a long time ago, I'm invisible now even to you. I stayed as long as I could, hoping it would get better, hoping you'd say, Mitchell, come home. Forget Bernard. We'll make it. But that never came. I'm leaving to find myself again. Not for revenge. Not out of hate, but because I've forgotten how to breathe in this golden cage. Please don't look for me. If I come back, it'll be on my terms. I still love you, but I love myself too. I just remembered how to. Mitchell, I sat on the edge of her bed, clutching that letter like it was her heartbeat. Bernard entered moments later, calm as ever, sipping espresso like nothing had happened. She'll be back, he said, with that smug tone that always made my skin crawl. They always come back when they realize how good they had it. I looked at him, truly looked at him, and for the first time, saw him not as a savior, but as a thief. He had stolen her light, and I had held the door open for him. She's not coming back, I replied quietly. He shrugged. There'll be another. And just like that my stomach turned. He didn't care. Mitchell wasn't special to him. She was a placeholder, a doll to dress and display, a silent partner in a transaction I orchestrated. The money didn't matter anymore. The fancy apartment, the clothes, the dinner parties, it all felt like cash. I had climbed out of poverty, and into a palace built on my daughter's unhappiness. Days turned into weeks. I called, texted, emailed, nothing. No response. Her social media went dark. No one had seen her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. At first, I panicked. Then, I began to accept. This was her escape. Her declaration of freedom. I started going to the places she once loved. Old bookstores, quiet coffee shops, art galleries she'd begged me to visit with her, back when we had only dreams, not diamonds. One afternoon, I stood in front of a mural downtown. A painting of a girl holding a balloon made of stars, looking up at a night sky full of broken clocks. At the corner of the piece, the artist had signed a simple name, M. Gray. Mitchell's pen name. She was alive, creating again, free. I didn't cry, not out loud, but inside, I felt something shatter and slowly begin to rebuild. I had lost her, yes, but perhaps I had also helped her find herself in the hardest, most painful way possible. Now I live alone. The money's still there, but I barely touch it. I work part-time at a local community center now, mentoring young girls, trying to help them choose themselves before the world chooses for them. Sometimes I get postcards. No return address. Just a few words like, still painting, still breathing, or Mom, I smiled today. And it was real. I keep them all in a little box beside my bed. My new treasure chest. They remind me that redemption doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes, it writes in soft strokes and distant stars. I don't know if she'll ever come back, but it'll be waiting, not with promises, but with love. If this story is interesting and helpful, kindly subscribe and hit on notifications. Thank you for watching.